Welcome back. All right, 10-game night tonight in the National Hockey League. Busy, busy, busy. So let's go ahead and we'll just jump right in. We're going to start off talking about the Flyers and the Ottawa Senators. So it's Fedotov versus Ullmark in this one. The shots are one apiece at 2 minutes, and at 2:31, Sanheim opens the scoring for Philadelphia. Andre and Hathaway with the assists. Now, the Ottawa Senators came in today with a record that's very good when they score first, but when they allow first, they were 1-6. So not a great record when they're fighting from behind. Pinto to Gregor gets picked off. The Sens press at 4.5 minutes, and then from the slot on a rush, Brady Tkachuk ties the game. Norris and Hamonic with the assists at 6:02. The Flyers press at 6.5 minutes. Gaudette's denied from the slot. Pinto has a one-timer that's kicked aside. We get a power play for the Flyers. That's killed off. Not a lot going on with it, as the shots will show you. The shots are 10-3 for Ottawa with 4.5 minutes left. The Flyers press with 3 minutes left. They don't get a shot out of it. And with 2:04 left, Ottawa gets power play. Things are pushy on a hold by Fedotov, and power play's killed off. 2 shots on net for Ottawa there. It's 1-1 after 1. Second period, we get a power play for the Senators. The Flyers kill that one off. The shots are 3-1 Ottawa at 6.5 minutes. Sens press are kept to the outside. Greg has a tip shot that's held. The Sens are controlling the Flyers, doing a good job of blocking, keeping them to the outside. And then we get a power play for Ottawa, and they score on it. Batherson from Stützle and Sanderson at 8:41. Not long after, the Sens go back to the power play. Philadelphia kills that one. The Flyers then get a power play. Forrester's denied and close. It becomes a 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off there. And then at 18:48, Konechny scores a nice one from Cates, and Sealer ties the game up at 2. The Sens press in the final minute, but it's 2-2 going into the third. Third period, early press by Ottawa. There's more pressure by Ottawa at 3.5 minutes. And at 4:27, Norris roofs one from the left circle. Chabot and Gregg with the assists on that one. So that makes it a 3-2 lead for Ottawa. Flyers press at 6 minutes. We then get a power play for Ottawa, and they score on it. It's Gaudette this time from Chabot and Gregg at 10:05. But Philadelphia fights their way back into it. First, from the right circle on a rush, Richard scores from Brink and Zamula at 10:42. And then at 12:45, that same line strikes again. It's Brink from Richard and Sanheim. Norris has a near miss in the closing seconds. We're going to overtime. Sens controlled early. Tippett has a rush chance that save. Both teams had chances in the overtime. I was running out of room. And at 4:05, Michkov ends the game for Philadelphia. He roofs one from the side of the net. Konechny and Sanheim with the assists. Philadelphia steals one. They win 5-4 in overtime. They go to 7-8-2 with the win. With the overtime loss, Ottawa 8-7-1. Shots on net favored Ottawa 14-3 in the first and 14-4 in the second. And in the third, Philadelphia outshoots them 9-6. In the overtime, both teams had 3 shots. Final shots 37-19 Ottawa. Power plays, the Flyers 0-2. Ottawa 2-6. The hits 23-20 for Ottawa. Fedotov 33 saves on 37 shots. Ullmark had a rough night, 14 saves on 19 shots. Kind of undoes the shutout that he had against Toronto in his previous start. All right, next up, Winnipeg and Tampa. Hey, Winnipeg was due for a loss, right? You got Comrie at one end, Vasilevsky at the other. Bit of an imbalance there, although Comrie did his best here. Early hold by Hellebuck, or by Comrie, I should say. I wrote Hellebuck. It's by Comrie. The shots are 5-0 for the Bolts at 2 minutes. The Jets press are kept to the outside. It's an honest mistake right in Hellebuck. It seems like he's always in the net. So Jets press are kept to the outside, and then at 7:24, Gensel buries one on a 2-on-1 rush. Paul and McDonough with the assists, so it's 1-0 Tampa. Shots are 8-1 for Tampa at 9.5 minutes. Jets press with 8 minutes left. They get some more pressure with 6 minutes left. With 55 seconds left, the Jets get a power play. So they had some momentum late in the period. Tampa Bay's ahead 1-0 though. And early in the second period, first, Tampa Bay finishes the kill. There's some pressure by Tampa at 2.5 minutes. And then at 3 minutes and 10 seconds, Hagel roofs one from the left circle. Radish and Lilleberg with the assists. And then Tampa Bay goes to the power play, and they score on it. At 4:07, Cirelli scores from Hedman and Kucherov. So Tampa Bay presses for another. They're up 3-0. Lots of pressure, but Lowry would answer from Miller and Fleury at 6:54. Then the Jets press for another as the momentum is shifted. We get a power play for Winnipeg. That's killed off. The shots are 6-4 for Tampa with 9 minutes left. Things are pushy on a hold by Comrie. 19 seconds left. The Bolts get a power play, so it's 3-1 after 2 periods in favor of Tampa. Third period, the Jets finished the kill. They allowed one shot during that. The shots are 3-0 Jets at 6 minutes. Barron has a rush chance. That's held. The Jets press at 7 minutes. We get a power play for the Jets. That's killed off. The Jets press after it's done. The shots are 6-0 for the Jets with 8.5 minutes left. Jets go back to the power play, but Tampa Bay pretty aggressive on the penalty kill. The ref is also informed that he sucks during that power play, which is good because otherwise, how would he know? That power play is killed off though. 6:19 left. Tampa Bay gets a power play. The Bolts call a timeout before it starts. There's a shorthanded rush by Connor that's saved. That power play is killed off. Goalie pull happens with 2.5 minutes left. With 49.7 seconds left, the Jets call a timeout. And at 19:39, Gensel hits the empty net for his second goal of the game. Chernak with the assist. So it is a 4-1 win for Tampa, who needed this. They go to 8-6-1 on the season. Winnipeg drops to 15-2 on the year. Shots on net, 10-7 Tampa in the first, 13-6 Tampa in the second, 11-6 Winnipeg in the third. Final shots, 29-24 for the Bolts. Power plays, Winnipeg 0 for 5, so that'll drop the percentage a bit. Tampa Bay 1 for 3. The hits, 25-16 for Winnipeg. Comrie saved 25 out of 28, and Vasilevsky saved 23 out of 24. So Vasilevsky not overly busy until the third period, but when he needed to be sharp, he was in the third. All right, next up, New Jersey and Florida. The Shock Llamas on the board. Why? Because Florida's got manhandled at home twice in a row by the same team during the regular season. I don't know if I've seen that in years. So the Shock Llama goes on the board. It's Allen versus Bobrovsky. The Panthers press at 1.5 minutes. I also want to say I'm glad the Llama's facing the right way. So yeah, the shots are 2-1 Florida at 4.5 minutes. Luostarinen fires one high from the slot, and then the Devils get some pressure and they score. Nason buries a rebound. Luke Hughes and Heischer with the assists at 10:01. Devils press for another. The shots are 9-4 New Jersey with 8 minutes left. But at 12:13, Jesper Boquist goes beast mode and scores. He gets that one from Tkachuk and Bennett. The Devils look to respond now that the score is tied at 1. Panthers press with 4.5 minutes left. With 3:56 left, they draw a power play. Allen holds one in a dog pile. That power play's killed off. The Devils press after the kill. There's 37.6 seconds left when the Devils get a power play, and they score on it at 19:57. Jesper Bratt scores from Hamilton and Jack Hughes. It's 2-1 for New Jersey after 1. Second period. Panthers press at 2 minutes. Jesper Boquist fires one wide on a rush. And then at 4:45, Reinhart goes far corner from the left circle. Barkov with the assist there. That ties the game up at 2. And you could feel maybe the pendulum starting to swing. So things get brawly at 5 minutes and 20 seconds. The dislikes up. And New Jersey comes out of that with a power play. And they score on it at 5:56. It's Mercer from Jack Hughes and Heischer. That goal was originally given to Jack Hughes. It has since been changed to Mercer. The Panthers press with 8.5 minutes left. We get a power play for Florida. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Mercer. That power play is killed off. Things are punchy on a hold by Allen. The Devils press with 2 minutes left. With 20.8 seconds left, the Devils get a power play, and they score on it. At 19:49, it's Nason with his second of the game. Heischer and Hughes, Jack Hughes, I should say, with the assists. It's 4-2 New Jersey after 2. I'm as surprised as the Llama. Third period. There's a full Panthers power play that it starts it, and that lasts 22 seconds before it becomes a 4-on-4. Very un-Panthers-like performance. Panthers press during the 4-on-4, but everything gets killed off there. Balinskis misses an open net, and then at 3 minutes and 50 seconds, Bratt puts one through Bobrovsky from a distance. Not a great night for Bobrovsky, who, as I mentioned in the power rankings of the goaltenders video yesterday, he has not been playing fantastic hockey this season so far. Just Florida's been outscoring any issues he might have been having. We get a power play for the Devils. That becomes a 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off there. We had a fight between McDermott and Gadjevich, which McDermott was winning until Gadjevich really tagged him. 6:35 left. The Panthers get a power play, so why not pull the goaltender? You're down by 3. And Bratt figures why not get the shorthanded goal, which is an empty netter, and the hat trick goal at 14:48. That makes it 6-2. That would be your final. So New Jersey wins this one 6-2. They go to 12-6-2 on the season. For Florida, 11-5-1 with the loss. The shots on net, 12-9 New Jersey in the first. Both teams had 9 shots in the second. 9-8 Florida in the third. Amazed at how well New Jersey controlled that Florida attack in the third period. Final shots, 29-27 New Jersey. Power plays, the Devils 3 for 5. Florida 0 for 5. Hits, 45-29 for Florida. Allen, 25 saves on 27 shots, gets win number 199. Bobrovsky, 23 saves on 28 shots. Rough night for him. Rough night for basically the Florida Panthers. All right, next up. San Jose and the New York Rangers. So, again, San Jose's not getting blown out. I know the results are not necessarily where you want them to be if you want to see progression from the San Jose Sharks, but the progression is still there even if the results aren't. So it's Blackwood versus Shesterkin. Shots are 4-0 for San Jose at 2 minutes. They came out really well. And at 2:51, a point shot's deflected in. It's credited to Liljegren. The assist to Cunnin and Sturm. I know. If you watch the Rangers feed, they said it too. It doesn't sound right, but that's how he wants it pronounced. So it's Liljegren. Rangers press to respond. There's a press by the Rangers at 7 minutes. Sharks press with 8.5 minutes left. Smith is denied on a 3-on-2 rush for the Rangers. So that's Riley Smith. And I have to specify that because you've got two Smiths on the San Jose Sharks. Good Rangers back checking, and then there's a crossbar for Grundstrom. They were that close to a 2-0 lead for San Jose, but it's 1-0 after one. Second period. There's a post for Zach Jones as the Rangers press. San Jose gets a power play that lasts 4 seconds before it becomes a 4-on-4. Sharks leading in the shots 3-1, 4 minutes in. They had a very good road game going, just the Rangers are quite good. San Jose then ends up with a 4-on-3 power play. Everything gets killed off there. It's just you can't get into any kind of rhythm when there's that many penalties called that back-to-back and there's guys coming on the ice that frequently. It just usually nothing happens there. The Rangers press at 8 minutes. Eklund has a net feed that's picked off. The shots are 7-4 for the Rangers with 9.5 minutes left. And at 11:47, Zibanejad buries a rebound and close. Fox and Smith with the assists. Sharks press with 7 minutes left, but on a rush, VC buries one from Sam Carrick at 13:15. The Rangers have their first lead of the game. Fox scores. Everybody goes crazy because that was his first goal of the year. And then there's a challenge for goalie interference. And sure enough, because it was his first goal, it becomes no goal for Adam Fox. Sharks press with 5 minutes left, but at 16:21, the Rangers would score again. Trocheck tips one in close. Panarin and Lafreniere with the assists. It's 3-1 Rangers after 2. Quite a different story once the Rangers got going. Third period, full Rangers power play to start, and they even ragged the puck for the last 55 seconds of the period just to make sure that power play would start the period. Fox has a slapper that's kicked aside. Then there's a shorthanded breakaway for Gaudreau, and he fires that one wide. Power play is killed off. The shots are 4-1 Rangers at 3.5 minutes. A net feed to Dellandrea gets blocked. The Rangers press at 5 minutes. Good back checking by the Rangers as well. Goalie pull happens with 3 minutes left, and with 1 minute left, it becomes 6-on-4, and they score during that. Zetterlund buries one in close. Eklund and Toffoli with the assists at 19:33, and San Jose tried. They kept the goalie out, but the Rangers hold on. So it's a 3-2 win for the Rangers. The Rangers go to 10-4-1 with the win. San Jose drops to 5-10-3 with the loss. Shots on net, 9-7 San Jose in the first, 16-6 Rangers in the second. Both teams had 12 shots in the third. Final shots 35-27 for the Rangers. Power plays, San Jose 1 for 3, the Rangers 0 for 1. The hits 34-31 in favor of the Rangers. Blackwood saves 32 out of 35. Shesterkin saves 25 out of 27. So, entertaining game, yep. And again, if you're a Sharks fan, they made it close. They're not getting blown out this year. It's not fun when your team loses, but at least they're not getting blown out. All right, last game on this board is St. Louis and Buffalo, and this one really went back and forth. Binnington versus Levi. Early press by the Sabres. In fact, the shots are 5-2 Buffalo at 2.5 minutes. But St. Louis gets on the board first. From the slot, Saad gets one. Shannon Parayko with the assists at 3:10. Owen Power had a chance to get that puck and just didn't. So Owen Power mishandles it. It ends up going to Saad, and it's in the net. Neighbors then has a rush that's defended. A lot of one and done in that first half of the period. Not any really extended presses by either team. There's a power play for Buffalo, and just as it ends at 12:47, Zach Benson scores from Krebs and Power. That ties the game at 1. Sabres then press for the lead. Parayko has a rush chance that's held. The shots are 12-6 for Buffalo with 5 minutes left. The Sabres press with 2.5 minutes left at 3.5 minutes left, and at 16:49, McLeod scores from Bryson and Tuck. So there you go. Buffalo with a 2-1 lead. The Blues do press to respond, but it's 2-1 after 1. Second period. Levi with a bit of an oops as the puck takes a weird bounce off the boards, but he recovers and makes a save there. P.O. Joseph gets shaken up. He exits. He did not come back to the game, so St. Louis played the rest of the game with 5 defensemen. We get a power play for the Sabres. That's killed off. The Blues rush after it's done. The shots are only one apiece at 5 minutes. And at 5:25, Buchnevich scores to tie the game at 2. Kyrou and Neighbors with the assists. And then the Blues press for the lead. At 8.5 minutes, the shots are 4 apiece. So very close, tightly played game here. We get a power play for the Blues. That's killed off. The Sabres press with 3.5 minutes left. And at 17:15, Brandon Saad with the second goal of the game. He scores from Shannon Holloway. That gives St. Louis a 3-2 lead. And then the Sabres look to respond, but the time runs out, and it's 3-2 St. Louis after 2. Third period, early jump for the Blues. Buchnevich has a 2-on-1 shot that's held. The Sabres score. There's a goalie interference challenge. I think my favorite part of this is when they go to Dave Jackson. And Dave Jackson's the official, former NHL official that they talk to. And he hedges. He hedges almost every time. Like, it's so funny because he won't just say, well, that's clearly goalie interference or that's clearly not. He's like, well, if they look at it, well, and then if, yeah, maybe. So I did get a kick out of that. In the end, the goalie interference challenge works. It's a lengthy review. Lindy Ruff was unimpressed. We can put it that way with that result. So then there's a net feed to Buchnevich that's blocked. The shots are 4-3 for the Blues at 9 minutes. And I don't mean anything negative towards Dave Jackson. He's in an awkward position. He's not going to argue against the officials. He's definitely not going to make a call that the NHL is going to counter. He's not going to say, well, that's clearly goalie interference. And then if they go, good goal, he's going to be like, oops. Like, he's not going to do that. So he's in an awkward position. Anyway. Shots are 4-3 for the Blues at 9 minutes. The Sabres press with 9 minutes left. Kyrou mishandles one in the slot. Mishandles one in the slot. Manhandles is completely different than mishandles. And then at 12:57, Tuck buries one from the side of the net to tie it. McLeod and Byram with the assists. And from there, the game kind of just slows down. You could feel that both of these teams understood the importance of getting a point. Both of these teams struggling in the standings overall. And so we end up going to the overtime with the Sabres having a full power play. You know what? I had that wrong. The Sabres ragged the puck for the last 50 seconds of that third period, so they'd have a full power play to start the overtime. So I got my games a little mixed up. It was 10 games on. I apologize. So that full power play to start, it kind of works. Quinn fires one high on a one-timer, and at 1:33, Darlene ends it on that power play. Peterka and Quinn with the assist. That's a one-timer from the right circle. Buffalo wins 4-3 in overtime. They go to 8-8-1 with the win. With the overtime loss, St. Louis 7-9-1. It's been a tough stretch for them. Shots on net, 16-8 Buffalo in the first, 11-10 St. Louis in the second, 8-6 St. Louis in the third. There was only one shot in the overtime. That's all Buffalo needed. Final shots, 33-27 for the Sabres. Power play, St. Louis 0 for 1. Buffalo 1 for 3. Hits, 28-26 St. Louis. Binnington saved 29 out of 33. Levi saves 24 out of 27. And now I need to change boards. All right, so let's get into the no mercy game for tonight. Boston and Dallas, two teams that I do feel like are a bit on a different level from one another, and I think tonight kind of showed that. So Swayman versus Ottinger. There's an early press by Boston, but at 1:09, Duchesne roofs one from the left circle. Marchment and Sagan with the assists. Shots are 5-2 for Dallas at 3.5 minutes. They give a penalty shot for Dodonov, and he scores on it at 6:39. So Dodonov makes it 2-0 in favor of Dallas. And at that point, I was thinking, Boston's probably not coming back and winning this. The Bruins press at 8.5 minutes. Sagan's denied as the Stars get some pressure. There was a bad hit by Jamie Benn on Brandon Carlo. So Zadorov goes in and jumps him, which was the right call there by Zadorov. So Carlo takes the hit. It's a 5-minute. They dropped it to a 2-minute on the review, which broke the Boston and analysts completely. In between periods, like, they were beside themselves with how frustrated they were with that. And I only know that because that was the one that I had on my tablet that I was watching, and they could not understand why that got dropped to 2 minutes when it easily could have been argued that was a dangerous hit, that it could have been 5. Now, where it's going to get interesting is if Jamie Benn gets fined tomorrow, or if they have a hearing for him and gets suspended, then that's going to make the referees dropping this to 2 minutes look way worse. At any rate, that power play is killed off. Dallas, pretty good penalty kill there. Bruins press with 3 minutes left, and eventually they score. At 17:48, it's Coyle burying one on a net drive. Frederick and Lowry with the assists, so that makes it 2-1. And then the Bruins press to tie it. So after the first period, I thought it was a pretty good period of hockey by both teams. Pretty close. And so we go to the second. We get a power play for Boston. Marchand has a shot that's held. Power play's killed off. Bruins get some pressure after. Shots are 3 apiece at 4.5 minutes. The Bruins press at 7.5 minutes, so the Stars answer with some pressure of their own at 9 minutes. Things are pushy then on a hold by Swayman. Stankoven has a wrister that's held, and then he scores. At 14:15, Stankoven makes it 3-1. Ben and Harley with the assist, and just Stankoven buries a rebound there. And then at 15:56, Beck, and I know it's B-A-C-K, but it's Beck, he scores his first NHL goal. Blackwell and Lindell with the assists. It's 4-1. And then at 19:49, Dodonov is just allowed to walk in and roof it. Like, there were a lot of white jerseys just watching him just come in and roof it. Now, here's the funny thing. I don't care who wins this game, but oh my gosh, the defense, like, everybody's going to be like, oh, Swayman, it's also Swayman. Holy crap, he just walked in. Dodonov, you could just see the Bruins just watching him. Like, so Steele and Beck with the assists, and there you go, Dodonov. We gifted you 2 goals tonight. So third period, 47 seconds in, Hint scores. It's a face-off win and it's buried. Robertson and Smith with the assists. Again, I'm not saying Swayman played well. He didn't. But that defense for Boston did him no favors. And Dallas just had a night like they did against Pittsburgh. It was very similar. Shots are 2-1 for Dallas at 3.5 minutes. At 3:35 on a turnover, Pasternak scores from Geekie. So that makes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like the score mattered. So, yeah, Boston has 2 goals. Then there's a crossbar for Marchand. The Bruins press at 7 minutes. The Stars get some pressure halfway through. Shots are 6 apiece with 8 minutes left. Robertson to Johnston. There's a near miss there. Steele's denied on a rebound. And then at 17:19, Marchment buries one from the left circle. Sagan and Duchesne with the assists. Makes it 7-2. Stars then go to the power play. That's killed off, but you're taking 2 minutes off the clock. And then with 33 seconds left, they get their second and final power play of the game, which just helps them round this out and make sure they get the no mercy magnet. 7-2 win for Dallas. They go to 10-5. Boston drops to 8-2. Shots on net, 11-10 Boston in the first, 15-6 Dallas in the second, 13-8 Dallas in the third. Final shots 38-25 Dallas. Both teams go 0-2 on the power play. The hits 25-6 for Boston because Dallas didn't need to hit. Swayman 31 saves on 38 shots. Ottinger 23 saves on 25 shots. So, yeah. I don't get really upset, but again, I just felt like they just let him walk in. Like, yeah, you're losing and it's a rough night, but the effort should still be high. Like, Jim Montgomery has to be beside himself watching some of the highlights from tonight. He'd kind of have to be, I would think. All right, moving along. Montreal and Minnesota. So it's Montembeault versus Gustafsson. Good early back and forth. The Wild press at 3 minutes. The Habs press at 5 minutes, but they're not getting shots. In fact, nobody's getting shots. The shots are 3-2 for the Wild at 9 minutes. There was one shot the rest of the period. One. So the Habs press with 8.5 minutes left. They don't get a shot out of it. Zuccarello took a puck to... It looked to me like it caught him in the nether regions, and he had to go off and think about some stuff. I'm not sure if that's what it did. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but I might need to go off and, think about some stuff and maybe meditate for a bit. Neither team's getting to the net, which is an understatement. The Habs press with 2 minutes left, but again, after the first period of play, there were 6 total shots and no score. Second period, early power play for the Habs. That's killed off. 2 shots on net. Kaprizov has a slot shot that's held. The Habs press at 6 minutes. The shots are 6-3 for the Habs at 9 minutes. So they tripled their shot output in the first period, in the first 9 minutes of the second period. Teams exchange rushes. The Wild then press, and they score. Boldy buries one in close. Johansson and Kaprizov with the assists at 12:43. The Wild press for another. The Habs press with 2 minutes left. There's a near miss for Foligno in the final minute. It's 1-0 Minnesota after 2. Third period. Hartman has a net drive that's blocked. Struble has a slapper that gets blocked out. The shots are 3-2 for Minnesota, 3 minutes in. Boldy has a one-timer that's held. We get a power play for the Habs. That's killed off. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Kaprizov has a rush chance that's defended. Slavkovsky had a wrister that's held. The Wild draw a power play, and it's a 4-minute power play. So Kaprizov has a shot that's kicked aside, and in the second 2 minutes of the 4-minute power play, Minnesota would get one. Rossi from Spurgeon and Chisholm at 12:19. The Habs then get a power play. That's killed off. Shots are 12-8 for the Wild with 4.5 minutes left. With 3:39 left, the Wild get a power play. That's killed off. The goalie pull is right after the kill's done. And so Kaprizov hits the empty net at 1940. So it was a while after that goalie pull, but Kaprizov gets a goal from Freddie Gaudreau, and it is a 3-0 win for Minnesota. So the Tony the Tiger Magnets on the board because Gustafsson was great. Not busy, but great. 11-2-3 record for Minnesota. Montreal 5-10-2. And I should probably point out that Minnesota's now won 17 of the last 18 games they've played against Montreal. It is one of those bewildering difference. There's almost like 5,000 days since the last time Montreal won a game in Minnesota. It's one of those weird things. Shots on net, 4-2 Minnesota in the first, 11-7 Minnesota in the second, 13-10 Minnesota in the third. So they just adjusted the sliders in between each period. Final shots, 28-19 Minnesota. Power plays, Montreal 0 for 3, Minnesota 1 for 3. Like the shot accuracy in the first period had to be like 1. Hits 22-14 for Montreal. Montembeault 25 saves on 27 shots. And Gustafsson saved all 19 shots he faced. An easier shutout in the realm of shutouts. But yeah. Anyways, all right. Moving along. Nashville and Edmonton. So big night for Connor McDavid and for the fans and all that. So there will be a video on Connor McDavid tomorrow. Wedgwood versus Pickard in this one. Early press by the Oilers. We get a power play for Edmonton. That's killed off. It had chances. The shots are 4-0 for the Oilers at 5 minutes. And everything looks good until at 8:22, McCarron tips in a point shot during a brief press by Nashville. Yossi with the assist there. It's 1-0 for the Preds. There's a press by Nashville with 9 minutes left. The Oilers press with 7.5 minutes left. With 1:01 left, the Oilers go to the power play. So, after the first period, it's 1-0 Nashville. And we're going to the second period with Oilers on the power play. So the Preds finish the kill. The Oilers go back to the power play, which lasts 5 seconds before it becomes a 4-on-4. And at 2 minutes and 44 seconds, McDavid scores from Draisaitl and Nurse. So if you're going to get your 1,000th point, might as well make it a goal. Connor McDavid has reached 1,000 points. The shots are 3-2 for Nashville at 5 minutes, but at 5:30, Nurse puts one just under the bar. Kulak and Janmark with the assists, so it's 2-1 in favor of the Oilers. Oilers press at 8.5 minutes. Kulak has a slapper that's held as the Oilers get some pressure. We then get a power play for Nashville. That's killed off. With 1:44 left, the Oilers get a power play, so that rolls over into the third period. The Preds do finish the kill there. The Oilers still leading 2-1. Things are pushy on a hold by Pickard. The shots are 2-0 Oilers at 3.5 minutes. Press by Nashville at 6 minutes. Not much room for Nashville in the third period at that point. The shots are 5 apiece at the half. The teams exchange rushes. There's a press by Nashville with 5.5 minutes left. And then on a breakaway, Cole Smith scores. Leroux and Lauzon with the assists at 17-12. The Oilers look to respond, but we're going to overtime. In the overtime, the Preds control early. Forsberg has a shot that deflects out. The Preds win the next faceoff. Nyquist has a net drive. That's saved. Oilers take over. They rush. The Preds take it back. They set up. Draisaitl's denied on a 2-on-1 rush. And then at 2:32 on a one-timer, it's Darnell Nurse with a second goal of the game. McDavid and Draisaitl with the assist. So McDavid with point number 1,001. And so, yeah, it's a 3-2 overtime win for Edmonton. They go to 9-7-1 with the win. With the overtime loss, Nashville drops to 5-9-3 on the season. Shots on net, 10-9 Edmonton in the first, 15-4 Edmonton in the second, 9-7 Nashville in the third. In the overtime, the shots 2-1 for Edmonton, including the shot that matters. Final shots 34-23 for the Oilers. Power plays Nashville 0 for 2, Edmonton 0 for 4. The hits 19-15 Nashville. Wedgwood saves 31 out of 34. Pickard saves 21 out of 23. So, yeah, the Edmonton Oilers, impressive result tonight. And for Nashville, it's a season sweep at the hands of the Oilers. So we'll see how they respond in the next one. Vancouver at home against the Islanders tonight. Boy, I don't know where to start with this. I'm wearing the Islanders jersey because honestly, they played a perfect road game. It didn't start as the perfect road game. So it's Varlamov versus Lankinen. And Karamaki scores his first NHL goal from Miller and Hronik at 2:40. Everybody's happy. It's a feel-good moment. But the Islanders press at 4 minutes. The shots are 2 apiece at 5.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Islanders. That's killed off. 1 shot. The Islanders get some pressure after it's done. And the Canucks are stuck on 2 shots for a while in this period. Siplikov is a net feed that's picked off. The Canucks press with 6.5 minutes left. The Islanders then draw a power play with 3:27 left. And they score on it. It's Pajot from Leon Wahlstrom at 17:23. And the Islanders press in the final minute. It's 1-1 after 1. Second period, 14 seconds in, Mayfield scores from Horvat. You think Horvat enjoys playing against Vancouver? I think he does. That makes it 2-1. The Islanders would press for another and then get it at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. It's Engvall with his first of the season. He buries a rebound. Wallstrom and Hutton with the assists. 3 Islanders goals. The Canucks at this point had 3 shots on net in the game. So, tells you how things are going in Vancouver at that point. The Islanders press at 5 minutes. The Canucks get pinned down for a bit. They then had some pressure themselves at 6.5 minutes. But the shots are 6-2 for the Islanders at 8.5 minutes. The Islanders then draw a power play. Nelson has a net feed that's held. That power play is killed off. Canucks press, but they're kept to the outside as they were for most of the first 40 minutes. Not really any offensive push. No oomph from the Vancouver Canucks in the first 2 periods. It showed up in the third, but not in the first 2. Martin has a fight with Desharnais. The Canucks press with 3 minutes left. The Islanders are playing perfect defense at this point. The Islanders press with 2.5 minutes left with 56.6 seconds left. There's too many Canucks on the ice. With the way they were playing tonight, there could have been 7 Canucks on the ice most of the game. I don't know if it would have mattered. So that power play rolls over into the third period. There's a Bronx cheer for the Canucks shorthanded shot early in that period. The Canucks do finish the kill. Pettersson has a tip shot that's saved. The Canucks press at 3 minutes. Brandstrom has a point shot that's saved. The shots are 4-2 for the Canucks at 5 minutes. So they woke up in the third, but they're already down 3-1, and the Islanders could be quite stingy defensively. Horvat has a rush chance that's held. The Islanders score. There's an offside challenge, and yep, it's offside, no goal. So they press to get it back, and they would. At 11:42, Anders Lee buries a net feed from Bo Horvat. So there's Horvat on the board again. Then we get power play number 5 for the Islanders. The Canucks hadn't had one yet, so that's killed off, and then with 4:52 left, the Canucks get their first power play. That's killed off, but they pull the goalie because you got to try to do something. So Dobson hits the empty net with his first of the season. Hutton and Palmieri with the assists at 17:54. And then just to make the score a little better, at least here at 18:34, Myers scores one on a face-off win. That's his first of the season. Bluger with the assist on that one. But the Islanders win this one 5-2. They go to 7-6-4 on the season. Vancouver drops to 8-4-3. Shots on net, 9-3 Islanders in the first, 15-3 Islanders in the second, 20-8 for the Vancouver Canucks in the third. Final shots, 32-26 for the Islanders. If the Canucks had played the whole period the way they played the third period, who knows? But yeah, power plays, the Islanders 1 for 5, Vancouver 0 for 1. The hits, 26-14 Vancouver. Varlamov saves 24-26. He was very good when tested. And Lankinen 27 saves on 31 shots. I also thought the Canucks defense was not great. We'll just go there. Not fantastic. All right. Last game of the night. The Chicago Blackhawks and the Seattle Kraken. So it's Mrazek versus Decord. There's some good early back and forth. The shots are 2-0 Seattle, 3.5 minutes in. Bedard fires one high on a rush. The Kraken press at 7.5 minutes. Decord, a bit of an oops for him. He recovers, though, to make a save. Tolvanen has a rush chance that's held. The shots are 4-2 for Seattle with 9.5 minutes left. We get a power play for the Kraken. That's killed off. More pressure by Seattle with 1.5 minutes left, but it's scoreless after 1 because Mrazek's pretty good. Second period. Eberle gets shaken up. He exits there. Shots are 2-1 for the Kraken at 3 minutes, and at 4:18 on a 2-on-1 rush, Beniers buries a cross-ice pass. The assists on that one, McCann and Bjorkstrand. It's 1-0 for Seattle. So the Kraken draw power play. That was killed off. Pretty good penalty kill there by Chicago. Shots are 8-1 Seattle at 7 minutes. Strong back checking by the Kraken, too, at this point in the game. 4 total shots for Chicago halfway through the game. I think Philly had 4 total shots halfway through that game, too. This is becoming more and more of a thing in the NHL. So there's a post for Dickinson on a rush. Gord has a rush chance that's defended. Bjorkstrand misses an open net. He's frustrated with that. Shots are 10-5 for Seattle with 5 minutes left, or 4 minutes left, I should say. Mrazek's the reason this thing's close. 45.7 seconds left. The Hawks get a power play, and that lasts 27 seconds before it becomes a 4-on-4. So early in the third period, everything gets killed off there, and at 1:34, Schwartz scores from Stevenson and Evans just after it had become 5-on-5 again. So Schwartz with the big goal to make it 2-1, and it becomes a big goal because at 3:22, Donato gets his own rebound on the doorstep to score for Chicago, making it 2-1. Shots are 4-1 Chicago at 5 minutes. There's a nice shoulder save on a Reichel chance by Decord. Bedard fires one high on a rush. The shots are 5-3 Chicago halfway through the period. Bjorkstrand has a net feed that's blocked. The Hawks press with 6.5 minutes left. Beniers nearly catches Mrazek out of the net. Mrazek a little lucky there that he didn't. The Hawks press with 3.5 minutes left. Larson has a shot that's held. Things are pushy there. The goalie pull happens with 1 minute and 40 seconds left. The Hawks call a timeout with 56.7 seconds left. And at 19:41, Tanev hits the empty net to put this out of reach. 3-1's your final score in favor of Seattle. They go to 8-1 on the year. Chicago drops to 6-10-1. Shots on net, 10-3 Seattle in the first, 10-6 Seattle in the second, 10-6 Chicago in the third. Final shots, 26-19 Seattle. Power plays, Chicago 0-1, Seattle 1-3. The hits, 14-12 Seattle. Mrazek saves 23 out of 25. Decord, 18 saves on 19 shots. So scoring in the NHL, I think it's hit a nice level right now. It's a little lower than it was the first couple weeks of the season, but it's still some entertaining hockey. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.